Whoa. So first of all, y'all are really, really, really smart. And I'm in love with your brains pretty deep, and I already feel confident that you're gonna help us fix this. So where do we start? That's all my social stuff. I really like to have conversations because I feel like it takes a few minutes for them to settle in, or sometimes weeks, or sometimes months, as to where we can interact with each other. So anything that I'm saying today, if I can help you, and where are you, we're gonna talk in a second because I can definitely help you. If that comes to light in a little while, reach out to me directly and let's have that conversation. I'm not the guy that says it to build followers. I've got enough trolls, we're good. But definitely, let's talk more. So I am a restaurant guy. This is one of my best friends we're gonna show you right now. His name is Michael Haggerty. Who's been to Vancouver, British Columbia before? Oh yeah, okay. You made my job a lot easier. I got a couple extra minutes now. So the downtown east side is like any sort of area that's sort of been downtrodden. It's also the largest open air drug market in North America. It's one of the most densely populated areas of mental illness, and my favorite neighborhood on the planet. I don't feel so crazy there, let's just say that. I've operated in that neighborhood for almost 10 years. In mainly a for-profit situation, and was trying to work within the informal economy by helping people out with money here and there. We really know that that doesn't do anything. It sort of is a Band-Aid for 5 or 10 minutes until somebody goes and scores, and then it doesn't have any long-lasting impact. So I wanted to create employment opportunities and training opportunities and help people do those sorts of things, but I'm in the restaurant business. So if anybody's ever been in the restaurant business, you know we're all broke. All the time. But we do need employees and we do need workers. And one of the projects that Doc just mentioned is called Save On Meats. And so Save On has been there since 1957, which is a long time in Canada. So it's an institution. If you've been around more than 6 years, you're an institution in Vancouver. But this place had been a part of food security in the downtown east side really heavily without knowing it. And so when we speak about food security, it's a really good buzzword. And of food security, a good friend of mine, Jonathan, gave me a quote the other day, and he was referring to CSR, and he said, CSR and food security are like high school sex. Everybody's talking about it. Very few are doing it. And those who are don't know what the fuck they're doing. Couldn't be any more true, me included. So in working with hacking the system of how we provide food and what we do, we're consistently at it. But why? What was the lightning rod? What really struck me? What happened? And it was this guy. So this is what Mike looks like 7 days a week from about 7 a.m. till he falls over. And I would see him every day outside my first restaurant, named Benita, also featured on my neck, and not a marketing ploy, after my mother. And he would be working, cleaning up the streets, picking up needles, picking up crack pipes, just going about his business. I was like, that's really cool that the city's employed folks who are marginalized. And the city hasn't employed anybody. Mike just did this because he felt it was his duty. And also because he has Asperger's syndrome and can't stand to see anything dirty. And so Mike, really well put together. As you can see, he's a more handsome version of Mick Jagger. Spent about 80% of his life incarcerated. Not for ever harming anybody, but just got into the system, and that's a whole other talk. And I lived right by my restaurant, had never engaged with Mike, never said a word. He scared the shit out of me, to be completely honest. And not because he physically intimidated me, I can handle myself, but because I wouldn't know what to say. Where do you start that conversation? Hey, how are things going? Obviously not fucking great. And that really stops us from having a lot of these conversations. And what I'd really come to realize, and what I've come to realize, is it was ego. Things that we don't necessarily associate with dealing with marginalized populations is our ego gets in the way. Not in the typical hierarchical way of like, I'm better than you. In the way of, what if you ask me for something that I can't deliver in a sustainable and meaningful way, then I feel like a piece of crap. So maybe that's why I didn't engage. Who can say now? I saw Michael across the street one morning, laying on a piece of cardboard, actually lightly covered in snow, and my heart broke a little bit. Because I'd never seen him in any situation, we're talking about years, where he didn't look powerful and like he was completely in control. I actually took solace in the fact that somebody else was working really hard, and he wasn't. And so I had no idea what to say, but I knew I had to do something. And so I composed myself. I'm like, all right, let's do this thing. What are we gonna say? What are we gonna say? What are we gonna say? I got over and I leaned down and I said, "Are you okay?" And he looked up at me and said, "No." Killed it, first line, good introduction. State the obvious, get their respect. So I asked Michael to come with me for a coffee. He said, "Do you have beer?" We were instant best friends. And we went to my restaurant where I asked him what was wrong. And he was living in an SRO, or a single room occupancy hotel, transitional housing. We have thousands of them. That's how we deal with our people. We put them in jail cells that aren't jail. And the hotel got bed bugs. So as the previous stated, Asperger's syndrome, not ideal for Michael. He bounced. When a hotel gets a bed bug problem, they take all belongings and they put them through hot heat, and you guys know what they do. Michael didn't go back quick enough because he was trying to figure something else out and had an altercation with the manager, so they burned all of his stuff. They incinerated it. So me, quick thinking, I'm like, great, Army and Navy's across the road, we'll get you some boots, we'll get you some clothes, it's all easy, we know people at shelters, we'll get you transitional housing. My ego's running out, we're almost there, and I've got the solution. It's not a solution at all. Michael said, "That's fine, but that's not what is the most upsetting to me." I was like, all right, what's the actual problem? What the actual problem was, is they incinerated all the pictures of his family. Game over for me. Game over. Waterworks are on, and I can't believe it. We're Canadian, we're supposed to be good at this stuff. We're awful. We're just as awful as the rest of the world at it. So, speeding this story up, Michael's been my friend for 8 years. He's worked for me every single day. He's clean now. He was a heroin addict for about 40 years. And is a proud grandfather and looks after him. So I wanted to create something that could help more people. And so I created this. The informal economy is an incredibly untrusting place. If somebody asks you for money and they look visibly marginalized or homeless, what's your gut reaction? What do you think? Why not? Drink, drugs, whatever that may be. That's okay. Especially in the largest open-air drug market in North America, somebody's putting money in the economy. Totally understandable. This is redeemable for a sandwich. Somebody says, "I'm hungry." You say, "No problem, here you go." Sometimes they get pissed off because they actually do want to eat, but they want to get high more. When I launched this program, I got nationally skewered. PhDs were writing about me saying, "You are actually accentuating the problem of taking money away from the marginalized." I was like, no, I'm just trying to get people sandwiches. I thought we would do 2 to 3 a day. We started at 120 a day. We've done over 85,000 in just under 3 years. Conversations, food, compassion at its finest. Rapid prototyped, it's a piece of plastic. We've employed people with barriers out of it. All of those sorts of, the ecosystem has been created around it, and it's very trusting. Where I'm going next is, oh wait, sorry, this is a really good side. Go back. So when I was getting skewered, I usually answer in anger. It's one of the things that I go to when people attack the things that we're doing. So when I got attacked, I was sitting at the pub one day and a good friend of Katie and mine, Riaz, who's a breakfast television host, sent me a text and he said, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm totally good, dude. Are you all right?" He's like, "Anarchists," all in capitals. So I sent back, "Have you been drinking?" And he said, "No, check your phone." This was an email sent to me with this picture. They stole the sign from my butcher shop. And they said, "We are going to systemically destroy you brick by brick until you stop gentrifying our neighborhood." My reaction normally would be to lash out and find my sign and figure it all out. My reaction was this. So we'll go back and forth a couple of times. There's our new sign. There's the old sign. There's the new sign. So you could come and pose as one of the anarchists. If you did, I bought a meal for the Rainier Women's Hotel, which had recently lost federal funding. 4,000 people interacted with this sign in under 2 weeks. This is how we engage community in a very informal way. Let's have fun with each other. Let's not take it too serious. Where we're going now, and I'll wrap up quickly, and this is what I want to talk to people about, is how do we take our currency in the informal economy and then put it into digital? How do we then understand people's problems by giving them a voice, or Yelp for the marginalized, as I like to say, even though it makes me uncomfortable? 92% of people who are living on the street have digital devices. 46% of those are smartphones. We have basements full of digital technology so we can keep the market economy good for our telecoms. I'm sure we can talk them into giving them all to us. We flood the streets. We use this for food. We use it for housing. We use it to diagnose with health. We use it to interact with everything else. We're going to rapid prototype in February. This is happening. We're going to do it in Vancouver. We're going to do it in San Francisco. We're going to do it in Red Hook. Yeah. And we need to do it everywhere. So I need an army. That's my ask today. Because while passionate, a lot of the simple things, they slip by me. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to help us help us. Thank you very much.